All right. Okay. Okay. What is your name?
My full name is Charles Michael Terry. I go by Mike.
How old are you?
I'm 62.
Uh, what's your favorite color?
That'd be blue.
What's your favorite sports team?
Football's Dallas Cowboys, and baseball's New York Yankees, and basketball's the Boston Celtics. And hockey is the New York Rangers.
Okay. Uh, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I like to read. I like to walk on the Creeper Trail. I like to ride my bicycle. I like to try to stay active if I could.
When did you decide to join the military?
Well, I guess first time was when I finished high school and went to Highlands right there. I joined the ROTC. After 2 years at Highlands, and I found out didn't have the funds to go on to another college, I had to submit a DOR, which is drop on request. And then years later right there, I tried to get in, but had trouble with a knee where I got hurt playing football. So I kept on until I decided I had one more chance to try for the military at the age of 34. So I talked to a National Guard recruiter. Had a little trouble getting past the physical. I had to have 2 doctor's consults. But I passed the physical, and I got into the Virginia National Guard. I went to Fort Dix, New Jersey for basic training and AIT. AIT is Advanced Individual Training. My MOS, method of specialty, was 64 Charlie, which is truck driver. I trained in 2.5-ton trucks, 5-ton trucks, and then we got into 818 semis, and then the 915 and 915A1 semis. Later on, I trained as an 88 Mike, which is a tactical driver.
How old were you when you joined the Army?
I was 34.
Why did you choose the Army Reserve?
Well, I chose National Guard.
Oh.
National Guard is slightly different from the Reserve. It works on a state and national basis.
Well, why did you choose the National Guard then?
It's part-time. It allows you to pursue your job and your education if you need it, and I thought the money is pretty good. It's 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks of summer.
How long were you at boot camp?
You're at basic training for 8 weeks in the Army.
How do you think boot camp differs now from when you joined?
From what I've understood, it's it's slacked off now.
How much experience do you have in the military?
Well, I've talking about training right there. I've had 2 weeks in Alaska, cold weather warfare and survival training. I was in Thailand for 2 weeks for jungle warfare and survival training. I had 3 weeks of airborne training at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Had 6 weeks of ranger training at Fort Benning, Georgia.
What places did you see while in the military?
You talk about foreign countries or just...
Yeah, foreign countries.
Well, in this continent, I've been to Mexico and Canada. I've been to Thailand. I've seen Germany, Switzerland, France. I've seen the Middle East. I've seen Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Oman, Yemen, Iraq. Briefly in Israel.
What was Desert
I was
Storm?
also seen Spain.
What was Desert Storm like?
Well, Desert Storm was something nobody was prepared for because it was in the Middle East. Tension had been building up. In August 2nd of 1990, Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, took it over in dispute over drilling rights. He was going to proclaim it as Greater Iraq. The UN told him to leave. He refused. So that was taken as act of aggression by the UN. The United States, Canada, Great Britain, France, Australia, New Zealand, they all took part in it too.
Did you rescue any civilians while you were overseas?
No, I rescued no civilians. I helped rescue a pilot who was shot down.
And you said you were a truck driver, right?
Yes.
That was your specialty?
Method especially, yeah. It's called 64 Charlie, and a tactical driver is 88 Mike.
How long was your tour during Desert Storm?
I was there slightly over 6 months. I would have been longer, but ground war was over, and the Red Cross contacted me. My father was in the hospital, and his life expectancy was very short.
Did your fascination with the Civil War begin before or after you enlisted in the military?
It was long before that. I was like in 3rd grade. When I was in 3rd grade, they were celebrating the Civil War Centennial. I was only 9 years old, but I'd heard my family talk about it. We had relatives in the Civil War, and that's what sparked my interest in it.
Which Civil War battle interests you the most?
No, they're all interesting because you got to remember they're fought in various parts of this country. 60% of the entire war is fought in the state of Virginia. And being from Virginia, that made me think it's more a special part of that conflict.
Why does the battles in Virginia particularly interest you? Is it because you're from
Because there
here?
were so many of them. Like I said, 60% of the war is fought in the state of Virginia. You can practically go from one state to the other. You'll see a Civil War marker somewhere.
Have you ever been to Gettysburg?
Yes, been to Gettysburg.
What was it like being there at Gettysburg?
Well, I couldn't get enough of it, really. There's so many different parts of the battlefield. There was the wheat field. There was the Devil's Den. There's Big Round Top, Little Round Top. There was the Angle. That was where Lewis Armistead led his attack right there. He was the forefront, let take the Virginia troops right in the center of the attack. He is flanked by Jubal Early on his left and Johnson Pettigrew on his right. And though they breached the front, they breached the very center of the Union line. The things began to fold on them because some things they hadn't counted on took them by surprise. It was just a large-scale battle. It's fought covering about perhaps 10 square miles. They said the artillery barrage it started that could be heard over 300 miles away in Pittsburgh.
All right. Thanks, Mike.